Formula One's arrival in Melbourne's Albert Park marked the end of winter testing. 24 drivers, with a record-breaking 6 world champions amongst them, were poised to battle it out to become the 2012 Formula One world champion in the longest season to date. McLaren kicked things off in fine fashion, while Grosjean was an excellent third on his return to the grid. Webber outqualified his teammate and reigning champion Vettel, while Williams looked more competitive than last year. Toro Rosso's homegrown talent impressed with 10th, while two-time champion Alonso had to make do with 12th. Di Resta and Massa could not be happy with how Saturday had panned out. Raikkonen's return didn't get off to the best start. Glock started 20th on his 30th birthday. While a gearbox penalty pushed Perez to the back, but on a new set of medium tyres. Both HRT cars failed to qualify within the 107% rule and didn't start the race, but opted to practice their pre-race procedures anyway. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. There were just seconds to go. Button was straight on the attack and went head-to-head with Hamilton. Schumacher got off the line well, and so did teammate Rosberg. But further back, things had got rather complicated for Ricciardo and Senna. Button led Hamilton, Schumacher, Rosberg, Vettel, and Alonso was up to 8th from 12th. There was plenty going on throughout the field. Hulkenberg didn't see who made contact with him at the start, but serious damage to the left rear suspension forced him to park the car. While back on track, Rosberg found himself overwhelmed by the reigning champion, who seized 4th. Grosjean had dropped back at the start and didn't expect a late lunge by Maldonado. He couldn't steer his way out of that one. Schumacher was still third, but Vettel looked to close the gap and get DRS. He couldn't afford any more off-track excursions. But it seemed fate would offer a helping hand. Schumacher lost drive thanks to a gearbox problem.
Third gear, basically. Third gear's gone. First gear's gone now as well.
Okay, Michael, next car behind is Glock, 12 seconds.
Can I do something, guys?
Negative, Michael, negative, nothing we can do.
Lap 21, and second place Perez was the only one of the top 10 who was yet to pit. Sergio's older rubber proved no competition for Lewis's new set of mediums. Three laps later, the Sauber pitted, so Hamilton was second, then it was Vettel, followed by Alonso, Rosberg and Webber. Two-stopping Kobayashi fancied his chances with Massa's 8th place. Felipe didn't yield, and Kamui found himself at the mercy of Raikkonen instead. Kimi continued his push and had no problem relegating his former Ferrari teammate to 9th. Then Kamui in the Ferrari-powered Sauber pushed him back to 10th. Petrov's Caterham debut ended suddenly. While Vitali parked on the start-finish straight, Button pitted for a second time. Just seconds later, he was followed by Hamilton, who joined him on a new set of medium tyres. McLaren didn't shy away from risk. Impeccable pit stops were required to bring the cars in this close together. Petrov's car was in a dangerous place. The safety car was inevitable, but that was not what current race leader Vettel wanted to hear. The McLarens had made their final stops. Lap 37 and Vettel came in. Red Bull celebrated the fact that they had got their man out in between the two McLarens. So now it was Button, Vettel, Hamilton, followed by Webber, Alonso, Maldonado, Perez and Rosberg. When the racing resumed, Kobayashi was straight on the prowl for Raikkonen's 9th place. '13th proved pretty unlucky for Massa. Senna and Ricciardo filled his mirrors, but it was the tangle with Bruno that did the damage.
I think I broke the suspension.
Felipe retired, and Bruno wasn't too far behind.
Well, it looks like everybody wanted to drive into you today, Bruno. So sorry about that.
This was the last lap. Maldonado hounded 5th place Alonso. Fernando had fought his way back from 12th, but the Williams wasn't a threat for long. It would have been their best result since Silverstone 2010, a fact not lost on Adam Parr. Rosberg made a last gasp lunge at 7th placed Perez. He did it, but not without contact. Quite a queue had formed behind the Sauber, but a puncture for Nico put him well out of the running. Jenson Button had run away with it. For the 3rd time in Melbourne, he took the victory. Vettel and Hamilton rounded off the podium positions. But the race wasn't quite over. Kobayashi had passed Perez. Now Ricciardo overtook his teammate. Raikkonen went round Perez for 7th, ahead, while Di Resta lined himself up and snatched the final point from Verne over the line. But at least Ricciardo scored for the Toro Rosso team and at his home event. Webber was 4th, Alonso salvaged 5th, but Ferrari had work to do. Raikkonen scored after his 2-year gap. Race strategy paid dividends for Perez and Di Resta. With 1st and 3rd, McLaren had made their championship aspirations abundantly clear.
On top of the world, I think, is what you'd say. But no, it's great to get 25 points here, but more importantly, to get the win, you know, to win here. 3rd time in 4 years, 2nd time with this team. And also to start the season on such a high. The last 2 seasons have been tricky for us at the start of the year, and everyone said, why McLaren, you know, strong from the word go. We've proved we are this year, and it can only help us for the rest of the season.
Obviously what we're after is race wins, and yeah, I'm pretty happy to get very close to that today. But to be honest, you know, you have to accept that Jenson was just too quick and out of sight, so I'm happy to come 2nd. It was our best result possible. Yeah, I think it was a great race. Good fun at the beginning, especially to, you know, have a couple of fights. And then you know that, to make strategies work, you have to get past people and use the cars as much as you can, which we did, so I was happy with that.
There was little time to bask in the afterglow, with only 7 days from Albert Park to the sultry Sepang circuit. McLaren got the ball rolling in the best way possible, but after 11 wins in 2011, Vettel was disappointed not to take the top step. A strong showing from Sauber put them third ahead of their engine supplier Ferrari, but Mercedes had a lot of ground to make up.